Screaming out throughout the melanin community and the world in entirety. You are tuning into the Melanin Playbook podcast. I hope everybody's ready for a good positive vibe tonight because we about to give y'all something positive, something hype, and something deep. You guys ready?
Yes. Heck yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Hold on. You gotta get some more energy than that. We finna talk about freedom. Like,
Okay.
come on.
Freedom is
Freedom
coming
to
tomorrow.
borrow. Yes.
All right. So the topic of the day is let's talk freedom. Is it truly in existence?
Nah, I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself for right now.
Mm-mm.
But in a lighter way to say it, heck no. Because, everybody want control. And when you got somebody trying to have control, you fail to have freedom. So until we get out of the mind state of trying to control stuff and control other people movement and life and stuff, we will never have freedom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Queen.
True. I was just reading the thing on here was the Wikipedia. The truth, I mean, the freedom of being not constrained or conformed to someone else's reality.
Hmm.
That's you know what I'm saying. So no, we're not free because, like Colin Kaepernick said, we can't wear our hair the way we want to. We can't speak the way we want to without being viewed or looked at wrong, as they say, a thug. So no, we're not free.
Yeah, and people don't realize how close a goal it was for us to, as melanated people, to even get just simple civil rights. Like my mom and
Mhm.
dad lived through that time. The 50s, like 1954 is when integration happened.
Right.
Like we don't look at it like we think it was so long ago. It really wasn't. Like that was in like we got people in the generation that's going on now that have grandparents, parents and stuff like that that lived through that. And it's like we come far, but it's like we still feel like we not there. Like
Yeah,
we still having the same conversation.
we keep
Why?
getting
Technically,
pushed
we
back.
not. And
Right.
I have a statement that says freedom refers to a state of independence where you can do what you like without any restriction by anyone. Moreover, freedom can be called a state of mind where you have the right and freedom of doing what you can think of.
Yeah.
So I think, is it truly in existence? There are limited. I think there are limitations on freedom. Which, if that's the case, then you're not free.
No,
Right.
It's a contradiction to free.
Because
And we we live as free? We can, but it comes with a price. And
I was
because
about to
of
say.
that, it's like you limit down your moments of being, free because you are nervous with the way the world views you, especially if they view you as a threat like they do most melanin men. Then you run into that moment of you're viewed as a threat, you're viewed as a thug and the bookie, and you're kind of worried about not only you but how your family will be treated out in the world as well. It's a lot of limitations with freedom when it flows through the melanin community, and some we have mentally adapted ourselves to, and then some we are still like, what, it will never be okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's not really free. You gotta can't get a loan because you don't make enough money. That's not free. I mean, if it's free, then everybody could get the same thing. You can't do this because your body ain't shaped. If they want a model, anybody could be a model. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, it's
Yeah.
limitations on everything. You gotta make enough money. You gotta look a certain way, act a certain way, walk a certain way.
And it's
It's
like
always
invisible.
some
It
type of
seems feel like
circumstance, I would say. Yeah.
yeah, and it feel like the people that are making these rules are kind of like invisible. Like who made this stuff and why are we even following these rules? Like if we
It's the
really want
man.
the freedom, but who is that?
It's the
Right?
Like let
man
me
made
I
It's
need,
it.
It's
I need
the
to talk to
man.
It's the
I need to
man.
talk to the overhead. Like
And if
what's
the
up?
man
Right.
don't if the man don't approve it, you can't do it.
But who is the man? Like it's like at this point, it's like should we just take freedom at its balls and just go with it? Like do what we got to do, or like we've gotten somewhat of privileges, like, but it's like, what are we doing with it? It's like we sit up here, we say things or whatever, as far as like, we don't feel free. We can't wear our hair the way we want. We can't do this and this and this. But it's like, who is stopping us from doing what we want to do?
Right.
Like, who exactly is that? And when we get out of the mind state of fear and scared to actually take on the freedom, I feel like we'll be a whole lot better, because it's like pretty much you scared. You don't know, you scared of what will happen if you do the opposite of what is being told.
And
So
so
I
like,
don't
we
think
don't
it's a
got
scare. I
go.
think you've seen it in history. What happens when you go against the tide, and those are the type of sacrifices that people are not ready to give anymore. It sounds crazy, but I think that's why you have, like I always say, you have a lot of people that claim to be activists but don't want to activate when the moment comes, because we're not ready to put down those sacrifices for freedom like we did back in the day. We knew that fighting for freedom would, possibly end up harsh. It could end up with death. We knew it. But we were willing to do it because it was a bigger picture, a bigger grand design. Now we live in the world where I'm just concerned with me. And if I feel like I'm
True.
mentally free, then hey, I'm free.
I just
True.
about to say that.
But
And
everybody ain't. Yeah.
right in the world we live in, we've been taught like Eyez just said, we've been taught to I don't want to say desensitized, but that might be right. We're not mentally free. We're scared of change. We're scared of speaking up and stepping out.
Yeah.
We're
And
scared of the consequences behind it of the man. So
and one
now
more thing,
we have
I was gonna
become pretty much
say we were talking
controlled.
about something earlier though. I had looked at like the Declaration of Independence,
Mm-hmm.
and the main thing that like really popped out of me was basically one of the excuse me, one of the ideas is that God made all men equal and gave them the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
So personally, I felt back then when they were making them rules, it was only for the free man at that point, quote unquote, the free man. I
Yeah.
don't really think they were including everybody in that spectrum.
It
And the
wasn't.
simple fact that we still go by it today, but hey, you're free now. You can actually include in this, but we really can't.
No.
Personally, that's still
And
not freedom to me.
that's control. You ain't gonna change it because you ain't even got us in there. Like, we ain't even a full person. So, like, you're not. That's that control thing, and we will
Right.
never get to where we need to go until somebody be like, "All right, I don't control you. I don't control this. I don't control nothing but myself," and move like that. But other than that, we still gonna be searching and gurching, looking for the freedom that we are granted, but we will never attain
Mm-hmm.
it.
Because you got
And
to
it's
do something. You got to do something to get it. You got to sacrifice this,
Yeah.
Right.
sacrifice that,
And
and
then
do something.
also you
and,
had to think about like where we are. So just so we're gonna be transparent on here. I mean, it's gonna be partial in another episode, but still we're gonna address part of it right now, which is in our group, we had it where we got a lot of hate comments.
Hmm.
We made a post in regards to black marketing. And I think those moments of even speech like that, where you like, it's freedom to speech and use your platform in the way that you deem, which is what we do on here. You know what I'm saying? We get on here, we give our feedback. We are talking the facts. We are talking, and this is conversations that are coming from people who are living in the situation daily. And when you got it where you can't speak your piece or put it out there without it being ridiculed, because to me, to be honest, if my freedom of speech bothers you so much, then it tells me it's a deeper rooted issue than what you are putting it as. Because the fact that we use the title that said black marketing, and a lot of people, non-melanin individuals came flocking like, oh my God, you're creating a moment of racism, this and that. But you felt free in that moment to give that speech, but because we made a title
Yeah.
that you didn't like, then you felt like it was a limit on our freedom and what we should be able to say. And that's an example of how it fits in here. It's like, why can't we be free to do what we want when we want, say how we say it. It's like y'all hate being reminded of a past that you created.
But that's
And,
just like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
and it's just it's nerve working in a way. It's like because it's like almost like if I step outside as a melanin man, I have to be conscious of how you view me because I'm trying to make it back home. Versus you get to go out and be your lovely freedom self, and don't experience nothing. You go, it's crazy. It's just crazy how the situation work out.
Mm. That's just like when somebody says Black Lives Matter, and
So all
somebody
lives
says, "Well,
matter.
all lives matter."
Oh
Well,
gosh.
yeah, I'm not saying that. They missed the message of, yeah, we're not saying that all lives don't matter, but in particularly right now, we're talking about Black lives that are being taken away from us, taken away from family members and stuff like that, and we want to bring awareness to that. We're not saying that, Pete Joe down the street don't matter. We talking about, George Floyd that we saw on TV basically get killed and murdered.
And with that, to be quite honest, I don't even feel like you just don't know that that's what we talk about. At this point, you choose to do that because you're like
Exactly.
it's not no, oh, well, maybe I didn't know. You didn't see all the years of putting your daggone foot on people's neck. You didn't see that. Like, come on now. You seen it. So at this point, you choosing to do that. That's an
But then
option.
you got to look at it. When you say freedom, and then you're trying to um like speak as if we don't know what we're talking about in that moment. But 72% of the United States population is Caucasian. And then there's
Caucasus.
14.2% of it that is actually African American. That's a very low percentage. All right. So with that being said, you have when we said Black Lives Matter is because 5,000 of you guys can get murdered or killed. God forbid that ever happens, and you would still have a high percentage of you left. 500 of us is a big dip because we're 14.2% of the population. So when we said Black Lives Matter, we said it at a point because we were getting killed at an alarming rate for a percentage of the population that is only 14.2%.
They know that because you you
So
you they do the same numbers when it come to
yeah,
animals.
you do it.
Exactly.
So it's not like
So
you
you
don't know
know
it.
it.
So then
You'll
it's like
gladly
you're
throw me in jail for hurting a dog.
Thank you. You know it because you
Michael
do the
Vick.
same numbers when it come to
Yeah,
animals.
exactly.
You know when there's monkeys in a certain part of the world that are almost extinct, and you try to do a preservation for them and all this other stuff. You know this stuff. So come on now. It ain't like you don't know. Like this is your first time at the rodeo, baby. I'm not even about to sit there and give you that excuse. No, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
So then it's a deeper question. So if freedom is not truly in existence, then what do you think it is?
Control.
Control. And if it is in
I say
existence,
manipulation at that.
yeah, because if it is in existence, it's not free. You still got to pay for it. We
Right. It's
pay
some
to watch.
it's some type of string got to get pulled
Yeah,
for it to make sense to everybody instead of it just being, equally, hey, I want this and give me that. No, I give you this if it's something else attached to it.
That's that control. You trying to monetize off of it.
Like I'm not really for it.
Like that's
Yeah.
stupid.
Because it's just like now, you remember we was just sitting talking last week and we were talking about vehicles and stuff like that because I got a new vehicle. And what was I telling you? I said the price of things are changing so much.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's becoming where like some people won't like I think in the next recent years people won't even really be able to afford vehicles like that because of how expensive they are becoming. But we're not upping the pay to
Yeah.
coincide with the cost of living. So then not only and this is outside of the melanin community. This is you making it where how can you say freedom fully exists when I can't be financially free because I'm not paid enough?
right.
So I can't live a lifestyle I'm living. they say to have a 2-bedroom apartment in the United States now you have to make at least I think it's $18.90 or something like that.
And
And
people are
how many
stupid.
jobs actually pay that?
But that's
So
just to pay for the rent, not the
and that's
loan.
just to pay for the rent. That
That ain't no
includes lights to
bills.
get back
That's
and
not
forth to
everything
work.
that you need or want.
No, yeah, it's that's saying that's rent
That's
with
saying
noodles.
bet not nothing happen. That's what they saying.
That's rent and noodles.
You better not have nothing happen. You better not have a flat tire. You better not have nothing.
You be like, oh Lord, my tire went flat. I'm getting put out. Lord.
That's right. Because it's over with for that.
Yeah.
And then and how you think people will stay open like with payday loans and stuff like that and all this other stuff. I'm gonna tell
Good.
you, you know what, speaking of that, you know what's funny? So you see payday loans, you know they don't do what was they used to call them auto loans you got at the payday loan place? The title loans. You know they don't have title loans no more. You ever thought of that?
Yeah, they do
Uh-huh.
in South Carolina.
I ain't seen them here. I North Carolina might be like, you just gonna be broke.
It's illegal in North Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah. They can't have that here.
Cause I know in Mississippi they don't have it. They start cutting back on it too. Like I guess they don't want your car. They want you.
Because I mean,
Right.
technically, it is illegal when you think about it.
Yeah. I remember, you know what? I remember talk about freedom. I remember having one of those. And you know, they it's the same like what Milt was saying is in control and stuff, you know, and manipulation because they put this lien out on your vehicle, so they're manipulating you for you to pay it because they know you want your car more than you want anything because you need it for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget when the car I had, the transmission went out on it, which was out on them because I said I'm not paying nothing else if I can't roll. Like, what's the point? So they came to try to pick that you know they this is how you know they don't be wanting. Hey, they set up there and they was like, you sure you don't want to pay for it? It's going up for auction. I said, and let it go. Like, what I'm gonna do with it? I was like, I'm gonna come pay and get it, and then have somebody tow it home. No, y'all got it. You know, but the thing about it, systems are set up for failure, and a lot of systems. And the thing about it is, you can sit inside of a mayor's meeting, you can sit inside of a governor's conference, you can sit inside of Congress, the White House, whatever, and they're always talking about, oh, they, you know, we're trying to make this better. We because the system right now is flawed. It's
Child.
flawed. But you
They
only
still don't
admit
want
that
it.
the system is flawed when it works in your favor, versus just fully admitting that the whole system in its entirety is flawed.
I don't even give two about you even admitting it. You know it. So and you're not gonna do nothing to it, just like you said, until it is not in your favor. So at this point, like you don't care. And to be quite honest, you need to pull people in like how companies do. Let me speak to the people that are actually face to face with the issues and let's see what their standpoint on so we can make the rules. You got a whole bunch of people that ain't never went through nothing making up rules and making up guidelines.
Born in the
And
money.
thank you.
That's
You
the
ain't never
privilege
been
of
through
it.
nothing. So
But see,
you
and
don't
see, when freedom talks, you know, of course, when we talk about freedom, they think that it's only a topic of color, which for us, it is a big topic of color because, like Queen said, it does limit us on a lot, you
it
know,
does.
of opportunities and things and getting it, and even jobs. You know, sometimes they see you on there, you know, you good. So it limits you on a lot. But then also, you have to just naturally look throughout the world. Like we claim ourselves to be land over free, but immigrants can't even flock to here. Like you can't advertise something that is not. And it's crazy because we do have now. I'm not gonna say in line. I'm not showing shade. We do have freedoms in here that some countries do not have. I will say that. But also we live at a time where it's a big divide going on, and for those who are oppressed in the United States, we're doing nothing to liberate them, and when they try to do something to liberate themselves, it's frowned upon. If we make a topic of race, you know, surface, then it's, oh, y'all just don't want to live in peace. So me hiding my transgression or how I feel or the negative stuff that y'all put off on me, if I open my mouth about it, then I'm spreading negativity, but you do it literally every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an issue when I open my mouth about it. You know, or you know, because to be honest, you don't get the feeling of the lack of freedom. You know what I mean? And you don't get nervous when the police drive past you. You don't go into the store and have security eyeball you right at the door. You're not out in a point of where you worried about paying bills and how rent is gonna get paid this month, or how you're gonna survive and make it. Like it's a lot of things that people in the higher class don't understand that you struggle with every day to day. You know what I mean?
Oh.
You looking for a job and you're trying to figure out where you can work because you have only work experience because college, going to school and things like that was not afforded to you. Like people be like, oh, everybody could have got an education. That's not true.
Oh,
It's not a
because
Oh
true
my
statement.
God.
school is expensive.
I just came
You,
across something. It says 10 facts about America that shows we're really not free. And the number 10 is we lock up more people than any other democracy, and we keep minorities poor.
yeah.
Hmm.
Not only that, but we don't. So most countries that actually like people go to jail or prison in, actually have programs set up for those people to rejoin society when they come out. We are one of the main countries that when they come out of prison, they don't have any rights, they don't have anything, which is why
Mm-mm.
a lot of times they try to arrest people, especially people of color, to put them off in there because once you get out, you can't vote, you can't do this, you can't do that. Take in mind, we're already a minority group because we're only 14.2%. So it weakens our vote already.
And then
And then to be
you got
honest, voting, especially when it comes to the presidential vote, is wild because they, of course, we never question that system. That's the system that's been put into order for a long time. But the fact that the country can vote for a candidate and it be overturned by electoral college, like we never addressed that either. And it's like that says like even with Trump won, Trump was one of the presidents that did not win the popular vote but run the presidency.
I
because
mean,
Electoral.
we
everybody
only
that had the
got.
power had the right. They had everybody had the power in certain areas. If you look in the South and everywhere that it's majority Republican, they have a lot more say so. Yeah, we might be here, but the people that hold the power are people that have that privilege of being more being more lucrative, I would say, and having that pull.
Well, yeah.
Well,
We didn't get the right to vote until 56 years ago. So I mean, to be quite honest, that's
But
even though you could have made a change, but like, come on now.
But to be 100% honest, if you think about it, everything that and this is gonna ruffle feathers, I know it. But everything that they give to us that they consider as a freedom always come back with a repercussion.
Yeah.
It's never something that's really given away for free. You turn around and you say, okay, we're gonna free you guys as slaves, but then now you got segregation.
Hmm.
Bruh, I'm
Then you
still
turn
looking for
around and you
my
said
40 acres and a mule.
we're gonna end segregation, but then
But you
now
still ain't got the
you're
right to vote.
but now, right, we're gonna end segregation, but now we're gonna up the way we arrest so that a lot of you won't have. So it's like you kept down and you kept down a group
Mhm.
forever and a day, and then you want to talk freedom, and yeah, we do it. And freedom does exist. Don't dare say freedom doesn't exist. And it's like for us, we get gunned down at an alarming rate, and nobody really wants to stand up and do anything about it. But Asians got hit one time, and there
Okay.
was a whole
Bro,
hashtag commercials,
Okay.
everything going out. Not to mention that you got people at the border who still are separated from their kids and things going
Mhm.
on there. Y'all ain't trying to do that. That's something swept up under the rug as well. It's like it's a lot. You can't say you're the land of the free and not everybody inside of the country is free. Like it's take that away from the statement. As I said, the land of the free, the land of the free. Because how are we? Because
How?
I can leave.
right. Looking
We
at
can
this,
leave out of here and go to Japan and live 10 times better than what we got here.
right. I'm
bro,
looking at
we
this
can go
stuff.
to Jamaica and live like kings and queens.
Listen, I'm looking at this right here. It said we work like mad people in America. We work 40 hours a week. We got the fewest vacation days. We give all our money to our bosses, and our bosses control our health. Like if you working a job, everybody like, yeah, I got a job benefits, but your job tell you what kind of benefits they're gonna give you.
Exactly.
And we're the less able to start our own businesses in America.
And shoot, don't mess around and get sick. You fired. You can't come to
Okay.
work.
Yeah.
You
Because
gone.
over in Europe, like they believe in vacation time. They're big on vacation time over there. You get months of vacation. in Europe. Like over here, we work 12 months straight with a 2 week allotment of vacation. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with 2 weeks? It's like
Okay.
12 months now, 12 months. And then they get mad when you rigging the system, putting your off days and stuff together. They feel some type of way when it comes about that.
Mm-mm.
They
Man,
looking
you
like,
can't miss one day out of a month. They thinking that you calling out too many times.
And then, bro,
Right.
I had a conversation with one of my coworkers the other day that basically we're overworked. 40 hours a week, cool. But why can I not divide that up into just having like 4 10-hour days or something like that, and then have
Right.
more off days? You
Mm-hmm.
be
what
more
if they,
rested that way.
Because
but
it's
see,
not
you
gonna
know,
be
it's
beneficial
not
for the
that freedom
business.
either. You need
Exactly.
money. You need
They want
money.
us to have them short 8-hour shifts for so
Mm-hmm.
long, and then that's taking up most of your time. Then you
But they
have no time to rewind. What I'm saying, recuperate yourself. Revitalize your joy of actually living.
Right.
but they
Well,
been
see, the
grooming
thing
us
about
for
it, you
that.
got to think about the cost of living here. It doesn't balance out. So even if you had that option, would it really be enough for you to sit at home for an extra day? You pick
But
half of us
Yeah,
really would
you
still
got to
probably
whoa, but you
go
you
to.
still got to think about that. If I had that extra day, let's say if I want to be ambitious and I want to start an extra business, if I want to put more time towards my business on those extra off days, that makes more for that one person.
yeah.
No, I get what you're saying on that. And the thing about see that's why honestly why we're going through the worker shortage right now. A lot of people sit at home, they got to feel what it felt like not to have to go to work every day, not to go through the same situation, the same struggle. They felt what freedom is supposed to be.
And see,
So
that's
then
the
it's like
fear.
now they don't want to go back to work because
And
they're
that's
like,
the fear of the government because that's the only thing that's holding the government alive, the working class. If people
right.
Hmm.
stop going to work, you're done. Like
America
the
would
whole
cease to
economy is
exist.
gonna crash.
Yeah.
It's over
And
with.
the thing about it, like, even going through coronavirus and when this first started off and everything first hit, yeah, think about it. Frontline workers were still working, whether it was from home or whether it was out, still
Mhm.
going out, which I was still out in the street. But whether it was going out or not, we were still working. And then we got nothing. The upper class sat on their behinds. They do every day. They probably didn't even feel it for them. You had the lower class who was sitting at home getting $1,000 a week,
Okay.
and the middle
Mm.
class was working like nothing had changed. Like we was literally out still struggling, trying to make sure we can pay bills and pay rent and
Mhm.
doing everything along those lines. And when it comes down to it, and they want to say, "Oh well, people don't work, and people don't work," that's because the middle class was holding that ass. And when the middle class said,
Mhm.
"I'm done," it screwed up everything because everybody
Yeah.
that's not going to work right now is the middle class. The
And
middle class is
that's why we going
exhausted.
through a problem now. That's why they talking about they running out of money.
Because the middle
People
class is
stop
the
working.
people who kept it circulating, who kept the money afloat, and it's like, no, we're not getting up, going out, doing it because we're tired. We worked through the lockdown, we
Mhm.
exhausted. So then, yeah, when you tell us I can file for unemployment to go sit at home and get $4,000 a month, what you think I'm doing? I've been working through this whole type
I'm
situation.
about to
I'm
go be
going home.
Exactly.
liberated.
I'm gonna go be liberated. I'm a
Literally,
cop, and if I'm not
literally.
going home to be liberated on unemployment, me and Famila will be best friends sitting at home,
Who you telling?
Okay. Femla me, baby. Femla
right?
me.
While
Nah.
we had this little baby called short term disability,
Right.
Mm-mm.
like
Right.
it's just like that's what it be, and even in this like Milt said, you don't get a break,
You
and the
don't.
thing about it, they don't understand the mind can only hold so much before it
Mhm.
starts to bend and snap and work its way around and change things up when in it existence. So it's like for us, over 2 weeks out of 12 months, where's my time to see my family? When can I take my kids to Disney World? When can I take my spouse or significant other on a romantic vacation? How can I do that? I'm splitting literally 2 weeks of vacation,
But
and I'm trying to
the
split it out.
thing when it comes to the way they built the system. They've been grooming us since we were in grade school. That's
Yes.
all schooling is to teach you how to sit down for 8 hours and listen to somebody. And that's exactly what we left school. If you went to college, you still sitting down,
Big school.
listening to somebody, and then
Big
you went to
school.
Big
work.
institution.
It's a whole institution. That's the process. They wanted to groom you so you can be a builder bear. or a worker ant.
Bro.
If you
You
Dora,
if you
Dora,
want to put it
Raina,
Dora,
out
you
the
here,
tell me
Explorer.
you tell me the difference between a school and a prison. What's the difference?
I guess the paintings on the wall.
Even then, they changed all paintings in the prisons to be more vibrant, so people don't off themselves.
They don't shank
Oh,
people.
mm.
No, so
Or
they
they
don't commit suicide, sir.
so they don't have backdoor. Let me shut up.
Mm.
You know what?
See the
But I mean, ain't no difference. Everything
be
when you
real.
dealing with institutions, that's all they do. It's a whole is one playbook on how they do it. One, we know how to get you in there. We condition you to be able to sit down and be quiet and do what we say, and don't be creative. Oh baby, please don't. Now you acting out. Don't
Right.
be one of
Mm.
those kids that can't pay attention to it because it's not exciting to
Riddling.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey,
they
then
trying to throw you on drugs now. Now you
And
that's
you
the
see,
can't
main
and
thing.
but see,
control.
we do that, and they don't realize we throw a lot. One, that's manipulation with
It
freedom
is.
because people don't understand. Like as a person that deals with mental health, that was one reason why I refused to go on medication unless it was just dire that I needed. Because some mental issues are from chemical imbalance, so sometimes
It
you do
is.
need those medications, but not in every occasion. And we advertise it now like it's just throw a pill at it and you got it. And
Right.
it's like, where that's not mental freedom coming from that. It's levels to freedom, and a lot we look at the fact that we are the country itself and people in the world are starting to realize what mental freedom is, what physical freedom is, what financial freedom is, what spiritual freedom is. They are starting to realize that because you're lacking it in areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
especially you got to think about it. When we worked and we stressed and we did all our things, we still had our mental freedom. Mental freedom was whether you kicked it with your friends on the weekend, or you sat in the house by yourself, or you just went out and riding through the city just to be in the car. You had those
Mm-hmm.
mental freedom moments. When we went through lockdown, the mental was tested.
Yeah.
It was
It
literally
basically
pushed.
took everything
It
away
took.
besides sitting in the house to yourself.
And
Yep.
it was like at this point, I didn't know. It was the point in history where freedom became prison.
Yep.
And it was like I'm sitting at home and I'm supposed to be enjoying this free moment, but I feel trapped because I am trapped because there's some airborne virus floating around here
Because I'm
and we don't know how
told
it's gonna
what to
work.
do.
Right.
You told to stay in the
And then
house. It ain't
even
an
now,
option.
you got to think about it. We have stuff out with COVID protocols, and we're saying, "Oh, keep a mask on, keep 6 feet away from each other. Don't touch each other. Don't do this. Don't do that." You got to think about it. One, the mind, the mental relies so much on human connection. It
Mm-hmm.
relies so much on human connection that it's hard to have a real moment of freedom. And the people that, and just being blunt, the people that you did feel free around, that you were able to have that human contact with, you started to not even want it because of what you were becoming accustomed to and not having access to it from everyone. You got to think about it. When we talk and spoke with each other, we needed eye contact. We needed to see your mouth move. We needed to be able to notate your body language. It had the whole body is a connection within itself. When you cut off parts of it, you're limiting it the freedom of connection,
Yeah.
which means now if I'm talking to Eyes and she has a mask on, I'm assuming in my mind mentally trying to think of what she looks like, because now when we do it,
True.
what do
Yeah, I
you
don't.
look
You
like?
don't know who anyone looks like anymore.
You
Yeah,
don't know
you don't.
who is what. It's some people that have took that mask off. I'm like, oh, you cute, and something like put it back on. You know what? COVID did us a good justice when he put out the mask, because but
Cause
it's
didn't you
like,
say hurt when you was working, like you had hired some people you didn't even know what they look like because
yeah,
at that time.
when I was out at out there in gas, I'm gonna say gas. When I was out there in gas, like yeah, I didn't know how half of the people look. And I would go in the back room and see them without mask, or they would change their hair. And I'd be like, who is that? That's a new girl. They're like, no, that's so and so.
Mhm.
She here? Like, and it was one girl that, no lie, I thought she was new every week she came in. She changed her hair almost every week, and every week I thought she was a new. I introduced myself to this girl 5 times in a row, thinking she was a new worker.
Now, see, after that, I'd have to look at you kind of crazy, like, bro, come on.
And she said, why you keep doing it? No, because she would come in. hair
On my
color
mama,
change.
I
One
gotta look at
one
you
moment
crazy.
she
I gotta
got
look
a
at you
fro.
sideways,
No,
then.
look, one moment she got a fro. Next moment she got a bob cut. Then she come in with braids. Then next thing you know, she got her hair straight down to her back. Then she
Shoot,
come. I'm
baby,
like,
baby had the coins to go get that weave or that
Okay.
wig.
I was like, what's happening? Like, how often are you flipping? And then when I would see people without the mask, I'm like, oh, some people look younger and some people look older. You be like, I just
Because it's
didn't,
hard to process faces with
it
just
really
eyes and
is.
forehead
Bro,
when
you
you
know
used to
how
seeing
like,
mouth, nose, and chin
So
too.
then that's
So
like I said, and
yeah.
so the topic came off with a lot of different freedoms. I know people will read it and they'll be like, oh, they was talking about color. And I was like, no, that was a big part. It really was. But it's also just the limited freedoms that we don't have right now. Like we don't like I can't walk up and touch an individual, shake hands, or do this and do that. And that's going on for almost 2 years now. We're going into the second year mark of these protocols
yeah,
of having a mask on or standing 6 feet away. And you got to think about it. You know, the reason why I say people mental snap because you had people who lost people during this time, and I couldn't see you. I couldn't hold your hand for your last breath. I couldn't be in the room. I saw you before you went in. The next time I saw you, you were laying in a casket, and I talked to you all this time among them, but I couldn't feel your connection, and I couldn't be close to you.
bro.
Yeah.
Even
I
my
give
dad
you
was
one
in there
even
having
worse,
heart surgery, and my mom was the only person who can go up to the hospital because that was her husband, and we couldn't visit my dad. I'm in another state, and I couldn't come down to see my dad. And if my dad had passed, I would. The last time I saw him before then was months before because lockdown happened, and he didn't want me to come down during lockdown. So that would have been the last time I saw him. Period. You
bro.
know, so it's a lot of mental testing that went on in there.
I haven't even heard my own child's heartbeat. This
Mm.
man will be here in January. I haven't even like every
They
time we
still
go to an
tight like
appointment,
that?
I have
Yeah,
not heard my own child's heartbeat on a monitor.
Dang.
Mm. I
I've
thought they was
had to
letting up. I
have
thought they was
my
letting
girl
up.
describe it to me in vivid detail so I can get some type of type of connection. I would say I have not
Yeah.
heard. I
yeah.
haven't looked at the monitor when he moving. Nothing like that, bro.
So
Only
is it
because I
because they
can't
won't
go
let
to
you?
the back. I have to sit in the car.
Dang. So
Well,
they still strict there. Because I know my situation going on. They allow my people to go with me. I
Mm-mm.
thought like situations like that. I thought maybe they'll. Because I
At
was like,
least let the father like come
right. At
on
least do
now.
Nope.
one visit. You would think one visit you could really like just come in.
Book one
Only
visit.
visit
You the
I'm able to go
father.
to is the one that's in a couple weeks, and that's when we get like the 3D, look at him and stuff like that. But like when it was time to check his heartbeat, even when we found out it was a boy, I didn't get that. She brought the picture down to me, and I appreciate my girl for doing this. Like she did a little surprise thing for me. Like I didn't
Mm.
get that same joy sharing that exact
In
moment
that
with her,
moment.
knowing, hey, we about to be a father and mother of a little boy.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. But I
You
mean,
know what I'm
and
saying?
even in that moment, it's that, like I said, freedom's taken away. Because you gotta think about it. Me and Twan haven't even had kids yet. It's in heavy in discussion, but we haven't had kids yet. But then you think about the world you live in,
Mm.
and like me and Eyez always say, who want to bring a kid in? Like, let's be honest, it's so much going on in here. It's like, man, I want to, but then I'm nervous. Can I protect you from all this going on? I'm barely protecting me. And so then it's like it limits it comes off as a freedom that's questioned, like that me to have a child is an easy freedom, but then it's like now I'm questioning it because of the state of the world and where we are. And it's a lot of things. Like I feel like one freedom that is really going to take from us is social freedom. I think we're going like it's going to really affect us in the long run. We got to think about this is 2 years of this.
Bro,
It's going to heavily affect how we interact with each other going
bro,
forward.
I miss
And
people
then
smiling.
the kids that are coming up now aren't going to have personal skills. Like
Nope.
their
Nope.
communication skills are going to be horrible.
Yeah, it already is. They don't know
Hmm.
how to talk to people. They don't know how to interact. They'll sit there and be listening in the game through the game. They'll
I'm
listen
about
on
to
the
say they
phone,
they can talk through that
FaceTime.
microphone.
But
Mhm.
like face to face and interacting, they on their phones. They absent. Like
Yeah.
they ain't present at all when it come to being around. And you can see it. Like I watch a group of young kids, and I be like, man, they so absent. Like they ain't even paying attention to each other.
Right.
Y'all just there. You would
I'd be
text your
like, "Can I
friend, you
see your
sitting right
phone?"
beside them.
Can I see your phone?
Right.
Can I see? I'll be like, for 49.95. Yes, you can. You can
By
show
all
us something
means.
by all means. It comes with service on it. It's already got the 5G new service on it, high speed.
I'm done.
YouTube login, that's an extra five. And then you got a couple of video games on it. Yeah. For
Yeah.
$60 a month, round it
You
off.
got Gabs on your phone.
Right.
No, I ain't got nothing on my phone. Leave me alone.
Hold on. But like, you click some of these links, your child gonna be permanently scarred. You better go and get them on away from you.
Mama,
Cause
I just saw a big guy. He was
Right.
just huge.
I was reading something that was saying because I really didn't know that it was literally that close away. Well, that happened where women were able to get the right to get a credit line, and that was in 1974.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you telling me, and the only way they could is if they were married. It would have had to been through like their spouse. So like it's stuff like that that is ridiculous. Like how you go that long without even thinking about passing. It don't take that long to get nothing done. Y'all literally will drag your feet, or if you don't see a benefit for you, that's nothing. Pretty much you couldn't have a business because you can't get a business credit. You can't get no type of credit. You couldn't have nothing in your name for real, for real. So it's like you would have had to get married just so you can have something. Like we
You
this
be like, come on,
country,
Joe. Just marry me. I'm trying to get this Honda.
like
No.
this country is ridiculous. Not a
Yeah,
Like
Honda.
you see that happening.
that's
Come
it's
on. I'm trying
crazy.
to get this Honda Pilot. Like, I've been trying to get it for years, and I just need
Nah, a
somebody just to
Buick.
lock me down. Come on.
1970, baby. That was a Buick. You trying to get this Cutlass.
Give me this
I was
LeSabre.
about to say
That LeSabre.
the cut dog.
You trying to get this Cutlass and you
Come
can't
on.
get it because you ain't married. So
Think about it. You get married and you ain't even talking about. They be like, how did y'all meet? We was at a car lot and they had this Buick.
He was standing on the corner and I said I
He was
needed this
saying,
car.
I saw this
right.
Buick and I love this car, but they said I couldn't get a loan unless I was married. So he was across the street at the store and we spoke to each other. And 2 weeks later, we was married riding in the Buick. It was the
I'm
most
done.
beautiful thing ever.
Damn, why you gotta say it like that? Riding the Butte.
Oh gosh.
A
I wonder
burgundy
how
one.
many
Too.
women back then had to really just settle just to get
Come
something. And
on
I'm
now.
like that's a true question.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Like
Like how
you
many women
literally.
in real life out here
A whole
probably
heap
still
of
married
them.
and just settled?
Yeah.
A whole heap
Just
But
of
for
because.
them.
in our community, I mean, it was on both sides because we worked like it was work. You get up, you go to
We
work.
need
That's
to
it.
ask
You
somebody
didn't
that's younger than
you
47
didn't buy nothing for yourself.
or
Your
older
family
than
got
47.
everything, and I think that's one reason why some of us now the way we flip. You know how like Melanin Bid now. I mean, just being transparent. Most of us are about self. And I think it comes from decades and centuries of not having what we wanted. Same, and then it's like same as women. Women like I could do it for myself because now you can do it for yourself. It's a
True.
freedom where back then you couldn't do it
Okay.
because I'm not finna check up with somebody just because I want a house. I mean, I would do it, but
Nah,
I'm not
shit.
finna say I'm not finna be doing it with a smile on my face. You know what I mean? Because think about it. What if you had to get with somebody ugly just to get you a car? Like
Just
I'm
to
not
get a
So
car.
you mean, like I like
be in
her
the
and
middle of the
all
night
Ah,
that,
talking about
but
be talking about William. I told you to leave that paper bag on the middle of the night. I be thinking you a ghost
oh,
when you take that
God.
mug off. Come on, man. Think it's
I
monsters in
need to
my
talk
house.
to somebody that's like in their 50s or like a woman that was like maybe like older than 47. Like what did you do?
But you
Like,
know what we say on the other episode, they'll never disclose it. We
and that's
get to
the
a certain
thing. We
point
got
and
to
they
have
don't
this
disclose it.
communication.
They don't want to have it. They don't want to have it. It's the thing about like it's in history books. Go watch it in the history books.
No,
No,
I
but
want to
it's
hear
at
it
the
from the
same. I
mouth
want to
of
hear from
people lie.
somebody who was here.
Because people
Cause that's
lie.
what they gonna ask us when like, okay, wait 40 years down the road and coronavirus pop back up and see how everybody gonna be pulling our ass off the street. What happened? How bad was it the first time? Was it really
Okay.
upset? Was it really horrible? I'm be like, it was the worst. But check the history books. You'll find it right there.
No, because
Hmm.
people lied. They literally put on like we were really doing the most during that Black Lives Movement thing, and it really wasn't that. Like if you speak to or spoken to anyone that was out there during those protests, they tell you the opposite. But the way the media spins stuff, that's why we need to have these open conversations within our community because people lie on
But
us all the
you know,
time.
when it came to that, I speak on that. When it came to that, my thing was, and you remember us having a conversation about it. What did I say? I said, if you're out here marching or doing whatever, and you don't know why you doing it, you need to go home.
True.
And and people, nah, they need to be out there.
Nah, you
If
need to
you
go
don't know
home.
why you doing it, you need to go home because that means you ain't out here for the right cause. You out here just to be out here. You ain't fighting for freedom. You fighting for your chance to be on CNN at 9 o'clock. That's what you out here fighting for.
True.
You're not doing it for the right reason. Because if
True.
you really trying to hit it, you gonna be out here marching, knowing that this has happened to my people. This has been done here. This is the injustice behind it. We're going to do it. Now, I applaud it was people of every race out there marching with us. And I really sincerely am happy that is because that's showing that people know and acknowledge that freedom does not exist for everyone. And that certain people have certain freedoms amongst it. Because to be honest, that insurrection, that thing that happened at the White House,
Hmm.
if they had been all black people, it would have been bullets flying left and right. It wouldn't have even been let's run and hide in our office. It would have been like all these going
Okay.
down
But
today.
hold on. Those people, quote unquote, were still protected by the Declaration of Independence, though.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that it didn't consider hate for them,
Because
but all of us was
along
in boxes.
along with that, now what I said earlier, it also still states that the if the government tries to withhold any of those rights, the people are free to revolt and set up a new government. Now, I
Mm.
know you ain't gonna go set up a new government, but you are free to revolt against the current government, which is basically what they were doing. We were
Mm.
doing it a lot more peaceful, I would say, than
Yeah.
other people were. But
Because
you
Because
we knew
for
know,
us,
not to.
we wasn't attacking the government. That's one. I ain't gonna lie. That's one of our biggest flaws. We never go where we need to. We
Go
be
to
down.
the
We
source.
be down the street. That's our problem. We be down the street. We want you to hear us from this block over here because we ain't just ready to go up to the front door just yet.
That's why I
But
told you that fear. You scared like
it's like because when we marched, the thing about it, we marched in peace. We did the whole Black Lives Matter thing. We marched in peace. We did our whole thing, and we were being like peaceful about it. No, we got nowhere. Now, the moment we lit up
okay.
Michigan and all that, then we was on the news. Then we need to do something, this and that. Because see, when George Floyd first died, and they had that on the news, everybody was always sad, but it was blowing over everybody's head. And when they started lighting up Targets, WalMarts, and all down there in that block down there,
hmm,
after that happened, then they was all on it. Then we need to make sure something get done. And the
Right,
reason why
because we
they
need
did
to
it
stop
because
them.
protests like that were becoming more frequent. And see, unlike them, we not just finna bomb this White House. See, for us, if you get us mad enough, we gonna take the whole block. We ain't got time for this. Like, we don't want to have to do this again. We tired.
Right.
All right. Because if you think about it, you talk about freedom and we get freedom. Okay, but see, first of all, every time, and I'm gonna say this, every time a melanin person got tired of something great created.
True.
We got tired of trying to cook this food fast, so we created a ice box.
right.
We
Mm.
create we got tired of eating just bread, so we came up with peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We got tired of the fro, we came up with the hot comb. It's a lot of things we turned around and we created,
Boy,
but
Right.
we got tired of stuff. It was like we got tired. We created the automobile. They just bought it out.
Yeah.
Everything that they put out that we say that I did you originally this person did it and then it's on there, and so we don't make it to books, and then we invented the first car. Are you serious?
That's why I said we need to have these conversations within the community because, again, people lie on us all the time. Like, or don't tell anything at all.
You like,
Like,
come
we
on,
just
man.
sweep what we do up under the rug, like, oh, it's just whatever. But
That's
meanwhile, you reaping the benefits.
and the
that's just
crazy
like we
part, I was talking to my pops and like right before we got on, and he was real life like we helped him out by segregating like desegregating schools because we really, I ain't gonna say it was right with what was happening, but the way we were learning and basically better preparing ourselves, our knowledge base. It was crazy
It's
when we got put together.
segregating was like watching your next door neighbor roll home with a new car after your hoopty just went out yesterday. It may look like you not finna get to work in the next week. You'll get there. It just may take you a little bit longer. But you so jealous that this person rolled up in the new car today that you trying to be like them.
I don't need all
And
that.
then it's like it may not be for you in the cars right now. You can wait a little bit longer because what you gonna get gonna be better. But that's was the mindset we had. We saw what they had and we wanted it right then, not understanding that if we had taken the time to build it for ourselves, it would have
Right.
lasted longer and it would still be standing right now. They knew it was a threat because
But
that's why they burned down Black Wall Street. Why you think all that happened? They
right,
knew you was on the rise of doing something great.
bro, we
True.
had all these HBCUs
We had
already
everything
established.
we needed.
But half the time, so now people said I want to go to HBUC, but then it's like who's running them? Like to be honest, because we ain't even running half of them.
Well, they took kind of like the funding from it. Well, we weren't putting into them pretty much.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Um,
Because we had an area where we were jealous. Like I said, we became jealous of each other, and it was like we're not doing for each other anymore. You got you and I got me, and we gonna do this, and that's how it's gonna be. And I'm not finna watch your kids like I used to back in the day. You better find somebody else do it. No, Johnny can't stay over here. You
Hmm.
can't do that. I'm not finna share my pot roast that I'd have paid $15 for that. I'm not finna do that. What you talking about?
mhm.
I don't go over to Dorothy house because she don't know how to clean her greens yet. Back in the day, they would have taught you how to do it. Next door neighbor, but like, let me show you how to put these pig feet in here. Yeah, they don't do
But
it. We don't help each other out with nothing. And
that's my
then it's like
thing.
we speak freedom, but then we limit our own selves and our own community. And that's why when we step out to try to march and do things like that, oh, the reason why we always off because literally the other day we was just talking about I don't give a care that Eyez brought this car home. I should put that mug on flat. Like that's the mindset we have.
But that's what I'm saying. When did we start getting that mindset?
When
Yeah,
segregation happened.
Exactly.
true.
And that was
Yeah,
because
There's a piece of
the
our
real
downfall.
reason was because one, we actually it
because we
started
thought
to
white
be
ISIS
transparent.
only.
I'm gonna say this and be over with it. We started in slavery when you had the house versus the field. It started then. If you really want to be 100% honest, that's when it started.
Yeah.
And then it went from there to you get the segregation because you think about it. When we segregated, everybody who was blending, and by blending I mean everybody who
Could
was
pass.
biracial that could pass,
Mhm.
was starting to make way, and everybody that was dark skinned was still sitting over here trying to figure out how to make a way. So
Mhm.
that's when it started. So then it's like if I see you making it because you're more excited, like you are, not being transparent, not being like showing shade or anything, but it's like you a light skinned guy.
Yeah.
Picture on the screen, y'all. you
Yeah.
are
We
like
color like that.
you a light skinned guy. So it's like then outside of the nitty gritty teeth thing, like you would have straight passed and flew through.
Yeah.
Versus if you see me, Queen, or Eyes, we would have been out in the fields. That would have been
Okay.
it just would have been us.
I
And
would have
then
been on the porch like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying?
and
And
we
Shit.
I
would
would
have
have been
been
like,
trying.
"Hey, bring me
And
some
when Master
lemonade."
went to sleep, we'd be trying to take you up out of here.
Nah, I would have been like, "Bring me some lemonade."
Right.
Okay. Hey, bro, go to the back. I got your pitcher of little water. Don't drink it all, cause Master gonna get me.
Right.
He ain't gonna get me.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you the lies you tell. You be out there.
See, that's the thing. We should have stuck together because even though, like, we literally have control over everything. What do? We fed you, we bathed you, we watched
Mm.
your kids. For one, we fed you.
It was
Like,
fear.
you
Not
literally
only
have
that,
control
we
over
watch your kids to
everything.
raise your kids for them to turn around and treat us the same way you did.
Even now, we have control over everything. What we
Hmm.
do, we work for you. Like, literally, that's why I kept
We
saying,
don't
what
have
is stopping us from doing what we want to do?
we don't have
Bro,
control because see, control is acknowledging that you have it. So
Yeah.
we don't have control. We grew up in a system that lets them control us because you got to think about it. They didn't teach us literacy because they knew we would get better. We always take what we get and then we tweak it to make it our own. So then just like reading that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, you got
great book.
he talks about in the book, he said they train us up to going to college, getting you a degree, and going to work in the workforce, and that's it. And it's just you did your due diligence versus trying to figure out how to make money work for you, which means how you don't have to work. You sit up and you allow other people to work for you. So they don't think about it in that way, and that's why we're limited the way we are right now. Right. With that being said, we kind of scroll past our time, but leaving out on tonight's episode, what we got? What thing we want to throw out there for freedom?
I would say you got the power to control and change whatever you choose in your life. It may be a little fearful at times, but at the end of the day, if it's something that you really truly feel like you need to obtain, you're gonna do it regardless. The freedom is what you choose it. And freedom is also something that you can control. We have options.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say personally, man, y'all need to cut the puppet strings. Stop letting people basically control your movements of what you need to do in your life. Take hold of yourself, your passion, anything that you want to put your mind to, and just do it. Don't be scared of it.
Yep. Have faith and believe that you can do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say freedom is something that you don't wait on permission for. You take it. So don't sit in a point where you're waiting for somebody to tell you you're free. Because if you are, you'll forever be bound.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, we gonna leave y'all free to go.
Okay.
So make sure you find the freedom in yourself to like, share, and subscribe. And
And
join in
comment. We want to hear
and
y'all
comment.
opinions.
I
Yeah.
want to see these
Mhm.
Give
comments.
us feedback.
Okay.
That's the melaninplaybook.com, the Melanin Playbook on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Give the comments in. Make sure we're going on listening and sharing with our friends and family and making sure everybody's in the community involved. Remember, the title of this episode was Let's Talk Freedom. Is it truly in existence? It'll be available soon, so make sure you're sharing it out. With that being said, we'll holla.
Have a good
All right.
evening.
Peace
See
and
y'all later.
love, baby.
Peace, love,
Sheesh.
and freedom.